Welcome to the Wincinnati podcast. Joe Burrow getting closer to a return in a Chidobe Awuzie interview for the ages.
Yes. Hello, world. We got a special show as always. TJ Houshmandzada, Jimmy Chase, Coach Jimmy Burrow.
Exciting time to be a Bengals
How do you
fan.
balance being a professional athlete and family obligation?
These are top 5 Bengals of all time.
All time, man.
Yeah.
Shock the world.
Yep, like Zim said, welcome to the Wincinnati podcast. Ace not with us today, just busy off doing some family stuff, but I'll just step in for him. Zim, how you doing, man? You've had a busy day on Twitter.
It was pretty busy. Pretty good. I mean, I can't complain. I'm really excited about the upcoming season. I think we had a good talk earlier, just going over some things like I like to do. I like to go over the strengths, the weaknesses of the team, different things like that. So I'm pretty excited about that. I was just out at my pond. I know I bring that up sometimes, but it for the people that got with me early on, I got it when we got Burrow. It's named the Burrow Baby Pond. And I'm here to tell you that those babies are not babies anymore. These fish are getting really, really big. And I think it's synonymous with like everything that's going on with the Joe Burrow project. We're just growing out here, people.
Awesome. I had the chance to listen in on some of the spaces today. What was going on in spaces?
Same old crap. Bunch of people come in talking that stupid stuff. Then we come back and we challenge them with information, and then they don't have an answer. And then they look at us like we're crazy. Hope my audio improved. I just hooked up my mic, so that was really good. Yeah, same old. I feel like we were talking about like what is a tangible reason why they feel like the Bengals would, like fall off. Is it possible that Jamar Chase at 21 years old gets better? Is it possible that we retain the whole entire staff? None of the staff. Like normally you go to Super Bowl and then a guy leaves and then,
Right.
and then you fall off. Like we retain all of that. Is it possible that, this offense takes the next level because they weren't consistent? Is it possible that some of these games, like the Jets game, towards the end, they get lucky with a call? Towards the end of the Niners game, Jesse Bates drops the pick 6. They get lucky. Is it possible that maybe the Bengals didn't get lucky and that the opposition got lucky? Is the main topic. And I think it's a good conversation.
Maybe. I mean, it definitely feels like a 13-14 win team, right? Especially with the extra game thrown in there. Well, after the spaces, we've got a big show today for you. Like we've been teasing, we've got Bengals cornerback Chidobe Awuzie. He's going to join the show. We'll talk to him about being a chess champion and how things are going in training camp. Plus, we say goodbye to Paul Brown Stadium. It is now the Paycor Stadium era at no longer at Paul Brown Stadium, but for the Bengals, it's going to be, we'll tell you how that will help them in the future and what that means for the franchise going forward. And we have video of Joe Burrow thrown on the field. It may not be exactly what we were hoping for at this point in camp, but any throws for us from Joe Burrow are welcome throws. We'll have all that and more on the show here today.
Yes, Sirski.
All right, so we just talked about that the Bengals Stadium has a new name. It is now Paycor Stadium. Zim, what does that mean for what's happening with this team?
It means that we're about to pay our core and we're about to tax DBs all over the league. That's what it means. Like, I just think that it's maybe call me a homer, bro. Ace had a really good tweet earlier today and just was kind of giving it up to like some of the different advancements that this regime with the Blackburn family has taken. And I'm a bit of a homer because I'm really, really with it because I understand that everybody, I had a tweet earlier myself this week where I was saying, how is the Bengals not America's team? Like they're more in line with the working class person that wants to, you work your butt off to get your family, food and do all these things. Like we don't have a billionaire oil rig type of thing going on. And So let's take it a step further. Paycor is another move that they're doing because they know that they can't operate like an old school operation, and they got to get to the bag. And getting to the bag is hustling, and you got to figure out different ways to go get it. Whether it's $60 million with Paycor, whether it's more money from different licensing agreements, whether there's all these things that are going to happen, so that the more negative fan, I think, is now going to say not be able to point to, they'll always be able to point to something that they don't like. Mike Brown's cheap forever. Like it doesn't matter, right? I get that guy, but you'll also be able to say, look, these dudes changed their philosophy along the way, whether it was free agency, whether it was a draft, all these different things that they did, and they went and got more sources of income just like anybody else. And I just think I identify with that more than anything. Like I'm not like, one of the reasons I never fell in love with international soccer and stuff is like whatever team has the most money, you could just go lease players and stuff. And that's not real to me.
Right.
Like,
it's not like baseball.
The Bengals are real to me. Like, like I get it. There's a cap. There's different things. Like that's a real thing. I identify with like their family. Some people might call me cheap because I just don't want to blow money. But I'm gonna spend some good money. I'm gonna make some stuff happen. And I'm gonna be lit. I'm gonna have nice things when you see me, like Jamar Chases of the world and Joe Burrow. And I'm not a billionaire oil rig dude. Like, so like I'm lit, right. and I got a brand new helmet, and I'm really happy with that. And I just think that perfection for me is in the effort. If you show me effort, I'm never disappointed with you. Like, so what? We didn't win a Super Bowl, or certain things don't happen our way. I see the effort in what they're doing, and I like it, and I think it's a good move. And I know that it probably isn't ideally what they would like for their family name, but it's a sacrifice that they're making in order to get to the bag.
Right. This is just another thing in a long list of positive changes for the organization. You mentioned it, like new helmet, new uniform, a practice bubble. They're doing positive things that are going to just help this franchise in the long term. And if losing Paul Brown from the name of the stadium, where his name is also in the Ring of Honor already, no one will ever forget that he's the founder of the franchise. But by becoming Paycor Stadium, if that means that there's more money for the owner to have in the bank for guarantees to keep this core around, I know everyone's throwing around Paycor as pay the core, and it makes complete sense. If that means losing Paul Brown, but keeping Joe Burrow and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and all these other players, if that's the trade-off, I'm okay with that. And I think all Bengals fans should be okay with that. It's okay for change. Change is good. And we all know the history. We all embrace the history. We're all proud of the history, but let's make new history with all this new money that we can use in other places.
Hey, and how does it sound? Like, I know this is day one of Paycor, but how about this? Pull up to the core. Like we're not gonna say Paycor. Like day one, right. I'm just letting y'all know we're just gonna be like, yeah, right. I'm at the core. That's I don't know. I'm good with nicknames, but I'm at the core, bro.
I love it. Speaking of things I love, Joe Burrow at practice, on the field, throwing a football. What was that like to see for you, Zim?
It was awesome. Like I know people are like, man, maybe they want him to throw a little bit further or, whatever. But I just thought like some of the early on stuff where he was leaning over the cart and then you can see him kind of grimacing a little bit. I didn't want to see that. But, what happened, definitely surgery. Like, I guess, that's just part of the soreness. But he's out there. He even ran a little bit. I just think that, like they're moving at a good speed. I don't want him to, I just think that the goal for the Bengals is to go to the season healthy and more importantly, pull up to the playoffs healthy, whether that's the 2, the 3, the 4, the 1 seed.
Right.
It matters somewhat, but at the end of the day, if I'm healthy, I like my chances with 9. So like move him around, move him at his own pace. You see him throwing here. If you're listening to this on the podcast, we're on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. But throwing the ball, is something that I'm not worried about with Joe Burrow. Wanting him to, get some of the new offenses installed with guys like Hurst and get that timing and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure. But I think you'll see Joe start throwing next week, like for real throwing next week, knowing the guy that Joe is. Like, I think I was telling somebody this earlier. People don't understand, like, this is not like a small quarterback or something like this. This is a big guy, bro. Like, bro is 6'4". We all go through had surgeries, being sore and all this stuff like that. That's a real thing. But at the end of the day, like, he recovers pretty fast. And I mean, he's like a raging bull out there for real. But but you have to, like, kind of pace yourself in anything in life. So, I'm not tripping off of it. I posed the question to say, should we be worried? I think he should be throwing by next week, and maybe probably about 2 weeks from now, be participating in 7-on-7s or 11-on-11s or whatever. And then, but nobody can touch him anyway. And last year, would he play 3 snaps in the preseason? I don't care if he plays the preseason at all. Like, I don't need him. I don't need to see him in the preseason.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't need to see him out there at all in the preseason. Would I love to see him out there getting all these reps in training camp? 100%. But it is what it is. You just I think coming into training camp, everyone was so excited because it was the first time he had a real offseason. He didn't have to deal with the pandemic. He didn't have to deal with the ACL rehab. And then we thought, well, he had this whole offseason and it's going to carry right through camp. Well, that was derailed the day they reported, and we found out he had to have the surgery. So, while it's not ideal and we wish he got every rep, he's getting enough mental reps. He's obviously out there. Wasn't even on the cart yesterday. There's a steady improvement, and we're going to get to the point we all want to get to, and we know Joe wants to get to, and he's like Wolverine, and he heals faster than the normal human being, and we'll get to that place where we feel confident in the offense and having a good season again. All right, so Joe's running mates, the Migos, they were on the Pivot podcast, and they had a lot of fun things to say. It was kind of no holds barred. One of the things that stood out to me was that they take that matchup with the Browns corners real seriously. I guess maybe there was some offseason talk. There was definitely talk during the year. And look, did they get the better of them in the first matchup? Yes. Did they not play at all in the second matchup? Absolutely. So there's really just kind of one game here to talk about it. But what do you think about some of the comments that these guys have?
It's on site. That's it. That's all I got to say. This whole all season, I've been telling people, like, this is one of the things that, I know that they were paying attention to, the Migos. Like, there's been some stuff, like some things that have been said about those Browns guys. So it's a matchup to watch. I thought that they were really excited to play them the second time, but because of the seeding, we set everybody and stuff. So we never got that opportunity, or they never got that opportunity to do it. So I think it's going to be, it's going to be fireworks, bro. I really feel like that game, and of course, the Purple People game, I just feel like it's going to be one of those edgy games where, there were some things that were said about, they asked them, what game did y'all feel like this is a cakewalk? And they were like, yeah, the Ravens and the Chiefs game. So, like, it's a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day,
it kind of was for them. I mean, there were at times it kind of was for them. I mean, they
both games
dug holes for themselves against the Chiefs, but I mean, Joe threw for what, 500 plus yards, and he was unstoppable. They talked about in that matchup that if you're going to double one, and if you're even going to try and double another, this next man up, and it just doesn't matter to them. Like, there is an unselflessness with that team.
Do you know what was so crazy too? And I know we're about to get to the Cheeto interview. I appreciate everybody being patient and stuff, but we had to talk about this. What's so crazy? This dude on Twitter Spaces, this guy named Eric. I don't know where he came from. But when I tell you that this dude be cooking, like I've never seen, like I'm scared. I'm so like people tell me that all the time. They be like, man, I'm so glad you're on our side. And like I do my homework and I like the school people and say, man, I'm talking about he put Marlon Humphrey of all people. He put him in the blender earlier and he was like going through, like he's a real big college fan. And he was like going through his games at Alabama. Like, I mean, I'm talking about this guy's memory is so good. And he was going through all the games and he was like, man, then he came back with this. Then he came back then. He has this all-pro year. And this is the, like this is the down. And then he had, I mean, I was sitting there thinking like, yeah, Marlon Humphrey's not even good anymore after I've heard this guy. But like in all seriousness or whatever, like it's a matchup that does not bode well for them. And I don't understand why they don't see that part. And I don't know why they took offense. Like, I know that this was tweeted out and stuff like that. They took offense to, like them saying like, yeah, it was like a cakewalk. But if you think about the personnel in those games, like it does not match up well. Whereas the Bengals in 2019 drafted, going into the 2020 season, drafted straight linebackers that go sideline to sideline for Lamar speed, being able to stay disciplined in their gaps, all these different things. If you look at the Browns, though, their back seven is more lined up and more of poses a better matchup if you really know ball. Like that's the matchup that really. So that's why I just feel like it's going to be fireworks in that regard. I think like if the purple people were to pull that game off, it would be turnovers. Or they're just backpedaling all game and just keeping everything in front of them, and then they get red, and then they limit our opportunities in the red zone. That's the only opportunity I could see them like actually stopping the Migos. Whereas you could see like a Denzel Ward having good reps against like Jamar Chase and stuff like that, where we've seen Jamar Chase go up against their best corner, and it did not look good for their best corner 260 yards later. That I will remind them every single chance I get.
Talented players, they're talented players, and talented players are going to make plays, and they're going to get theirs. It's whoever gets theirs the most often, and I think it's still Jamar and company. And like he said, it's on site, and I think a lot of us, I think we're going to like adopt that as a fan base on site week in and week out. And like when I just need to know when Ace and Zim are going to make a shirt for me that says on site, and I can pick that up.
One thing that I will give you right now before we get into this interview, right? I am releasing season 3 of Burrow Babies next week. We're going to release on next Friday. The theme of this year, just a quick exclusive, is Savage Mode. And I feel like on site is a part of being a savage because I really feel like now Jamar is like on demon time, and it's like gloves are off. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Let's rock and roll. But Savage Mode will be upon you next Friday, and it's the revenge tour. And I'm really, I feed off this energy. I was at the gym and I saw this. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going crazy. I'm about to go off. I'm like I'm staying up tonight. I'm watching film. I'm about to go do my thing. I'm about to go get in the lab. We're about to talk it up. We're going to figure out who we knocking out this week. And I just feel like now it is all coming together. But Savage Mode. And on site have to get incorporated some type of way, right? But yeah, Savage Mode next week, and it's gonna go crazy. I really like this offering I'm giving, and I think you all will too.
While Savage Mode and on site bring a smile to my face, tell us about how Troy Pierce brings a smile to other people's faces.
Troy Pierce and the Pierce Dental Group bring a gigantic smile across everybody's face. They've got a great smile against some of your favorite Bengals players, located downtown near Fountain Square, been in business over 30 years, relocated to a new office, sophisticated, modern, free consultation. Even if you don't live in a Cincinnati area, please go to Pierce Dental Group on Twitter. My Dr. Troy Pierce, the best dentist in the game, most swag, most drip, most dunks, most all that. Has done everybody's teeth that I think that you guys have noticed as far as like the new smiles from the Bengals players, some of the players that we've even mentioned today. So you never even know who you might even run into if you go into Pierce Dental Group, because Bengals players have gotten their teeth done there a lot.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, it is the interview that I know you are here and you've been waiting for. So Ace and Zim had the chance to catch up with Chidobe Awuzie. Here is the interview.
All right, we are going to welcome in our special guest for today's show, my man Chido. Chido, what's going on, bro?
Wagwan. What's the deal?
Glad to have you on, bro. Obviously, it's during training camp right now. How would you say camp is kind of going for you entering your second season with the Bengals?
Oh, man, it's a beautiful experience, every year to come to camp. Obviously, got a little taste on our mouth. And I feel like it's just a continuation from last year, the energy, everything we were trying to build. This year, coming with the guys, I really see, a new hunger, that same hunger really, but a new, we got a taste of it. We want the whole plate now, the whole meal. So I can tell it's on everybody's mind. Everybody worked hard this offseason, and the energy, camaraderie, real great, just like it always is. And, it's just a blessing to be back. I'm for my sixth camp.
Man, let me tell y'all, this dude right here is as humble as it get. Because honestly, I talked to you a couple of times, and I meant to tell you this. I threw it out there real quick, and I'd be like, "Hey, bro, how everything going?" He'd be like, "Yeah, it's just smooth." On that same day, it'd be like him picking off a pass to a Jamal or whatever. So like, he been balling at camp. How do you feel about the secondary? Is it different? Not seeing Jesse next to you, like out there, like communication wise, does that feel different, or what is the feeling behind that when you're out there?
Yeah, man, it's a lot of change for sure. Jesse gonna come back, God willing, but there's definitely an energy that's missing between last year and this year. Jesse's one of our leaders, one of the guys who, when he's there, you feel him, you feel his presence. When he's positive, we're all positive. We kind of mold ourselves after his mood, after his energy, what he's bringing to the table, and a couple of the other guys on our team too. So he's definitely one of those guys. So we just waiting for him to get back here. We know he got to handle what he got to handle. Hopefully, it all turns out in his favor.
When you say get back there, you feel like he'll just like pop up like week one.
Hey man, wishful thinking. Yeah, obviously I talk to Jesse and stuff. I don't want to say anything that told me or anything, but I'm hoping that he's back with us for sure.
For sure. So I actually used to live in San Jose for a few years when I lived out in Cali. Found out that you were a Bay Area native. What has Bay Area or Bay Area culture like meant for you growing up out there?
Man, it's everything, because the amount of people that I've seen, the diversity in the Bay Area, crazy. Then I don't know, a lot of people know about the hyphy movement. When I was young, man, that changed my life. And it's, to this day, people still coming out the Bay, got that energy, got that swag. It's just a different swag. When people from LA or from parts of the West Coast see someone from the Bay, they kind of know that they're from the Bay Area, from San Jose or whatever. So, it's cool. Like Joe Mixon on the team too. He definitely got that Bay Area swagger too. So,
so y'all at practice ghost riding the whip, basically. Is what I'm
That's definitely always something that with their plays, they be looking at me or Joe. They want us to start sneezing or doing something, Yeah.
Hey, I was going to talk to you because you said, like not too long ago, we saw you with Jesse at UFC. And then not too long after that, we saw you win the chess championship on chess.com.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about those two experiences. Like, that was a wild week. I know, like, coming in around that time, we were talking a little bit, and I was like, yeah, bro, just doing a lot.
Yeah.
But, like, even outside of that, talk to me about, like, that time frame, like going from a UFC joint. What was the preparation leaving that and then going to the chess?
Yeah, man, that week was really crazy. Joe had talked. Me, Joe, and Jesse. We love UFC, love watching those guys compete and fight. And honestly, a crazy story is like the night before the Super Bowl. There was a fight going on, and we didn't watch it because of meetings and stuff. But Joe had it recorded, so we actually went up to his room. Me, Jesse, Joe, and Scotty Washington, and we were watching the fight like the night before the Super Bowl. It was surreal to me because I'm like, oh, damn, we're about to play the biggest game in our life. But, all of these guys are just so relaxed. We were very confident. I remember Jesse asking Joe, like, oh, how do you sleep good at night? Like, all this pressure or, like the limelight, Super Bowl, and Joe was like, I sleep like a baby, and that gave me a lot of confidence, just heading, when I went to sleep, I was like, man, ain't nothing to worry about, I'm very confident. So when we went to the UFC match, it was just kind of like a continuation of that energy. It's that confident, and everybody's having a good time. We know what we got to do. Obviously, we talked some football, but a lot of it was just brotherhood. And after that, I went back to San Jose, had my football camp, and then had the chance to go to an Igbo convention, a Nigerian convention, and then play that chess tournament that weekend too. So it was a busy time for sure.
For sure. So I got one question I got to ask you, bro, in relation to the chess tournament. When are you going to play Kyler Murray? Because they saying that you the best, but they was talking kind of spicy about Kyler Murray as well. So we got to set that up.
Hey, man, where we from, bro? I welcome all fades. No fades is ran from. So if you want to play, we can play. Ain't nothing to me.
Is it split up where there's a group of y'all that just really be on some chess stuff and really these are the guys that really play it? And because now I'm seeing everybody's super competitive with the ping pong now.
Honestly, so I ain't gonna lie, before this interview, I was playing ping pong.
Okay.
Guys are still playing ping pong right now. We've been out for an hour, so it gets real competitive, bro. Yeah.
So out of ping pong right now, who give us the top three in the give us the top three in the Bengals locker room ping pong wise.
Top three, I'll go Mitch, the tight end,
Mitchell Wilcox.
Yeah, and then I'll go Trent Taylor.
Okay.
In three, I'll go Cheeto. You know what I'm saying? I'll just take it. I ain't gonna lie. There's some people that beat me though. So, but I would say there's probably a three or four way tie for number three. I would say that's what
I saw Tyler Boyd kind of had
He's nice too.
I seen his technique. I was just watching how people was working their backhands and stuff like that, and I was like, man, these ain't no beginner level dudes right here.
I probably put TB at three.
Okay.
So you talked a little bit about that competitive juice, and I know when you were on the Cowboys, there was a play that you had where you had the 22.81 miles per hour where you chased down Saquon. Do you think that you're the fastest player of the team, or who would you say are some of the fastest players on the team?
Fastest players probably Daxton Hill. I didn't know he was that fast. He can burn. Obviously, you got Jamar. You got Puka. A lot of guys haven't been able to see Puka on the field, but in practice, he be burning too. And then obviously, I'm gonna put myself up there as well. But
yeah, because you clock faster than Tyreek Hill. You know.
Yeah. I mean, if we just running, I'm pretty sure I could get up with a lot of people, just running. But football speed, I have to start to include a lot of people too. So I just give respect where it's due. Obviously, I'm gonna put myself up there. I'm gonna put myself at number one. But I know there's a lot of people who are fast as well.
I mean, just going off 40 times, it's a bunch of 4.3s in there. It's a lot of that over there. I was gonna say, he was talking about your time with the Cowboys. So one of my things is I live in the DC area. It's a lot of Cowboys fans here. So a lot of them were hurt when you came to the Bengals or whatever. So one of my boys, he had chopped up games for me. One of my favorite games is you against the Saints. I think it's week 4, 2019. It's another game against the Lions where you balled out or whatever too. 2019, super underrated season by you, whatever. I've watched a lot of your games from that time frame. What do you think is the difference between playing there and then playing here, where I feel like you probably had your best season as a pro?
Obviously, it's a lot of differences. I would say the biggest difference is just the personnel, the operation. Personnel operation. Obviously, when you go to different teams, a whole different group of guys, whole different group of coaches, and they do things a different way. And I guess here, I don't really want to get too in depth, but we have a great camaraderie within the locker room, great camaraderie through the coaches. There's a big amount of trust. I'm not saying that we didn't have that in Dallas either, but obviously the results speak for themselves. We were able to make it to the Super Bowl when everybody counted us out, one of the toughest divisions in football. So you got to have a close team to do that. And, a lot of these guys in this locker room are very underappreciated too. Great players, great high caliber of talent, but aren't getting the recognition in the public eye or in the football eye. Super Bowl team that only has one Pro Bowler on defense when we were doing a lot of great things. There's a lot of players on that defense I think that could have probably made it or got all pro and different types of things. Even DJ Reader's that pops in my mind right away. But so we just keep it pushing. We're very humble, but we're very hungry.
For sure. Speaking of ties to the Cowboys and Bengals, La'el Collins obviously was a big move and a big addition for the Bengals. Was there any kind of role that you kind of played in like letting him know about the area, why he was kind of mulling the decision over?
I don't know if it's legal if I say yes or no. I will say this though, that when he got here, after like a week or two, he was like, "Damn, Chido, I like it here. I like it here." And it's crazy because just last week we were having a conversation how he was like, "I see why I went to the Super Bowl." So I think players from different teams when they come here, including myself, it's just a special energy, a special way that we do things that is very player friendly. We're all on the right stuff, and there's a big amount of trust in the players too.
Thanks.
Like those are the things behind the scenes. I think you kind of hitting on a lot of stuff like the Jesse Bates, the cohesion, the camaraderie, all these different things, especially the calmness of Joe Burrow. Those are the things that I don't think are quite as tangible. Mm-hmm. But like when I'm having these arguments online every day, right? Yeah. And I'm just looking at like player for player, and like I get it. Like you said, there are guys that didn't make the Pro Bowl, but politics as usual, whatever. We don't care about that. Mm-hmm. But when I'm really looking at the roster, I just don't get it why they don't feel like the Bengals are like the favorites. They're already the defending conference champions. Mm-hmm. But even if I'm looking at roster for roster, you match up and you guys check out on like there is really no weakness come at this point that we're at right now, like that I can really gravitate to. Yeah. Do you have a theory on why you feel like people still doubt the Bengals or still don't? I don't know if you see the crap that we see, but most people say Bills are like the Super Bowl champions right now, and I don't get it.
Well, I mean, it's a couple of things. Obviously, we had one primetime game last year. So people when they argue, they're arguing off of what they think or what they used to know or statistics. They're not actually watching football games. People don't watch football. Like only people in Cincinnati are watching our games because of TV coverage. So those people that are arguing against our behalf haven't probably even watched one of our games. There's people first that think I don't follow receivers. I'll be saying that. That's just idiotic.
Hey, I'm gonna say, hold on, real quick.
That's why
my man Ace got a tweet. I'm gonna show it to you. I've never, me and you, we don't even really be talking football. I'm gonna show this tweet to you, where he puts player A versus player P and asks people to guess who they think it is, and you check out, and we put your numbers up against everybody. I'm gonna show it to you. It's gonna blow your mind. You're like, oh yeah.
It's like, okay, whatever my statistics are, I'm going against a lot of these top guys in this league, and Eli's going against a lot of these top guys in this league. Mike's going against all the top slots in this league. Vaughn and Trey are going against a lot of the top tight ends in this league. We're literally matching up. There's a lot of things in our defense, but people don't see that. And then number two, I remember in the Super Bowl after I got hurt for maybe 3 plays, people don't think I finished the drive. Like, oh, why weren't you on? So it's like, bro, Eli's a great corner too. Like we both, love to be in those situations. We love to be in those positions. So I just came to the point that people don't watch football. They just run with whatever they run with, and it's all love at the end of the day. So I know football's an entertainment business, so we're entertainment. So there got to be storylines, there got to be protagonists and antagonists. But I also know that in this league, you got to do it twice. People are going to call it a fluke if you don't do it twice. So that's what we're focusing on doing is being consistent and repeating with a little more hunger, a little more swagger.
For sure. I gotta ask you though, bro, because when those Madden ratings came out, we was looking like this is crazy. What were your thoughts when you saw like the Madden rating reveals, especially for like yourself and other players?
Oh man, I mean, they did us a little justice, and my phone's at 1%. I'm gonna be running while I talk to get it charged. But no, some of the ratings were.
This is dope. We need to see this part of this. This is what the people want to see.
Yeah, I get a little peek into the locker room. These guys are stuff like that. But there's a lot of guys who I think should deserve a higher rating. Obviously I'm not the one who judges that, but again, people don't watch football. Did you see these guys playing ping pong?
Who is that? Who is that playing right there?
That's Marcus Bailey and T. Graves.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. Let me get situated real quick.
Big time PBS exclusive for everybody out there. So I thought that's like
For sure.
crazy how life works sometimes.
No, it's
Behind
all
the
good.
scenes.
Yeah.
But I got so obviously you play football, you watch football. I got to get your top 5 receivers in your opinion that you face.
My top 5. My top 5 will consist of Devontae Adams, AJ Brown. He had a good game against me.
He's the only one.
Yeah, I was gonna say
He the only one. He the only one for real.
Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, of course, and T. Higgins. Put them all 5. Actually, let me take out. Who I say? I said Devontae,
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown, and then the rest: Jamar, T, and Tyler. I'll say.
What is that like playing against them like every day? Is it a feeling like where you're like, man, if I can stop these guys, I can stop anybody? Do they give you tips as you go along? Like, kind of walk us through that part.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, competition in practice is great. You know, no matter where you line up, you're going against one of the top 5 players at their position. So that's in the backfield too with Joe Mixon. So and quarterback, obviously. So. You know, it's a great thing to just go against those guys and always pretty much learn every rep. You know, you're learning something new and you're going against a different type of receiver. You know, Jamar got, it all. Tyler got it all and T got it all, but they all put it together different. So it's just a great experience to be on a team where, when we go into practice, we know we're going to see that many people that's better.
If y'all watching this on our YouTube channel, these are reps of Cheeto versus Jamar as he's kind of illustrating some of these points, which is kind of crazy. Have you seen this?
Well, I was there.
Have you seen the playback?
No, I haven't. I have not.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing that I've noticed, Cheeto, one thing I noticed is that, this is another thing we have in common. Like you kind of look up to some of the teachings from Kobe Bryant, right? Like, what does Kobe Bryant mean to you? Because it seems like throughout that Super Bowl run and even after the Super Bowl run, you kind of were like liking a lot of his tweets and sayings and videos and things of that nature.
Yeah, I mean, Kobe, growing up, he was the pinnacle of what success looked like to me in my era. I can't really think of anybody else. Probably Kobe and Floyd Mayweather. Those guys who were just complete winners and, that had the mentality to back it up. You're able to go to YouTube and look at how they approached everything. And if you approach it that same way, whatever you do, you're going to win and succeed. So to this day, obviously, his legacy lives on even after the tragic event that he went through. And, anytime I see anything with Kobe, I listen because I just know ever since a kid, he's been someone that's been able to reach me. So.
I know we're getting closer. I know I want to be respectful of your time. I do want to ask you this. I know H probably has a question after this, but can you share with us, if you can, any of your goals that you have for this upcoming season, whether it's on the field, whether it's with your clothing line, whether it's with anything? Like, can you share some of your goals that you got with us?
Yeah, my number one goal is to do my part to help this team get to the Super Bowl. Individually, it's to be better than I was last year. To get more interceptions, to turn over the ball over more. To just hone in on my assignment, be locked in, try to be a leader on this team. Off the field, I'm pretty sure everybody kind of can tell I'm all about African identity. So whether that's with my clothing line, this new group that I'm with that I started with, it's called The Afro. It's all about being yourself. Got an African animation company I'm tapped in with.
It's fire.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm just, obviously during the season, I kind of have to temper it down, but definitely still sits in the back of my mind and in my heart, and the moves are being made.
Definitely, for sure. Well, Cheeto, we want to thank you for your time, bro, and thank you for tapping in with us, and we wish you the best of luck this upcoming season, bro.
Yeah, one love, bro.
Who they, bro?
That
Yeah,
was our interview.
with Chidobe Awuzie.
Great.
When we were doing that, I don't know if I was so locked in on the actual, interview itself, but it in a weird way, it was aesthetically. I don't know if it was just like the
rhythm of
the rhythm of the ping pong was pretty cool because it kind of made me feel like, you ever see like the interviews that they had with the players, and then you can hear the music in the background and stuff like that. I feel like the ping pong was like, he said like it's really competitive and stuff, and then you kind of hear it, and it's like, and then there's Marcus Bailey, you know what I'm saying? Like a linebacker that I really, really value a lot on this team, and I think one of the best cover linebackers on our team. But I just thought it was really dope to just have like him to walk that part. I think he probably thought like, dang, my phone about to die, but I thought that was dope that he actually walked through. So everybody that's watching, like little small stuff that you'll probably remember, like, oh yeah, I remember how they got a meeting room, then you walk down there, and then you go right into the into the locker room, and it's kind of dope. It's kind of dope.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we can get somebody to eventually give us an in-depth tour and walk us through and do a walk and talk interview. And shout out to the people in the comments right now asking for Marcus Bailey. That's a great get. If we can find a way to get Marcus Bailey on the show, would love to get Marcus Bailey on the Wincinnati podcast. Zim, real quick before we move on, I just wanted to get your thoughts on some of the things he had to say about Jesse Bates and how he thought things were going.
I thought the Jesse Bates thing was pretty cool because he kind of mirrored a lot of things that people had said. Like I've listened to a Mike Hilton interview that he had on the Believe podcast. There's been a lot of different things that I've heard people say. And I feel like I'm an extension of like some of the players sometimes getting this out sometimes. And that's one thing that I've been telling people, that debates didn't get done. But I think we all feel like he's going to be there. I know like a lot of teams are trying to figure out like the holes or weaknesses in the Bengals. I just don't think that that's one of them. I think Daxton Hill getting a lot of those reps is really, really important for him. At the same time, you heard Cheeto say, well, yeah, I miss him back there. The communication is not the same. So it's not ideal, but it's just the way that we're living right now. And I don't think it's really going to hold him back. I think that it'll be a fresh Jesse coming back. I think Jesse's been working out and he's been staying in shape. It's not football shape. Maybe it takes him a little while to get back in the swing of things. But, I mean, we got a first-round cornerback. We got another guy in Tyson Anderson who had a pretty good day the other day too that, I think a lot of people had like a second, third round grade on. So you got two brand new safeties that, you really like. You still have the veteran leadership of Von Bell. And you still have like the corners and everybody that, that are all there communicating. I almost think it's a blessing in disguise. Like maybe he comes out rusty, who knows? But Jesse Bates is probably one of the best, outfielders in football. So, like when he comes back, like I'm not really looking for him to like be tackling up everybody. Just make sure you don't allow the deep ball. Maybe Dax Hill kind of integrate. I'm really interested in what Lou cooks up like week one. I just think that whatever we see in preseason will look nothing like what we got on week one, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is just my, orange lens glasses, looking at this, but to me, he sounded not only optimistic that, he would play, that he'd be back. I also got the feeling that, he realizes and understands how important Jesse is to that secondary. And I think we all do. I think it's obvious what Jesse means, and hopefully he'll be back and he'll be cooking week one. As for cooking,
they tell me that the bono wings will make you do the gritty. The bono wings will make you do the gritty. Bono wings, come and get them bono wings. Bono wings, who they gonna beat them bono wings. Bono wings, Jimmy's got you with them bono wings. Bono wings, they tell me that the bono wings will make you do the gritty. The bono wings will make you do the gritty.
Shout out to Midwest Barbecue, best barbecue and creamery. If you guys haven't been there, I haven't been there. I'll be out in Cincinnati for week 1. I can't wait to go. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to try the Uno wings.
We're gonna meet up. We're all gonna meet up. Isn't gonna kill me for this, but we gotta meet up and eat, guys. Like I don't want to like make it like so it's like a chaotic situation, but we all gonna be eating Midwest Best week 1.
Absolutely, and if I can sneak any back to California, I definitely will be trying to. All right, as we wrap up the show here, don't want to get off the air without wishing Eli Apple a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Eli Apple, friend of the show, a guy that I think is still going to be a starter on this defense and be an important contributor. What do you think?
100%. I mean, Eli Apple is his job to lose. You heard Cheeto in the interview just now say that, man, Eli Apple's a great cornerback too. And I mean, he didn't have to say that. He went out of his way to say it. I think they really value him. He makes an excellent point. There are a lot of fans that just don't really watch, other teams. So they didn't see what Eli Apple did. I don't feel like Eli Apple's perfect, but he is a good corner. Always been a good prospect coming out. I know he's had some shortcomings along the way. I've grown to love Eli. I was pretty critical of him at first. I started watching more plays on my own team, and I really like his game, bro. Like, I really do. It's not every day you get, like, he's a lot longer arm corner than I originally thought he was. He can make up for a lot of different things. Even if you try to limit him to specific plays, it wasn't like he was in bad position on the Cooper Kupp play. Cooper Kupp really is like one of the best wide receivers in the game, and it's unfortunate it happened that way. But he's a really, really, really underrated corner, and I hope he has a great birthday. I told him happy birthday earlier too. So, man, that's the dog. That's the homie. What I was gonna say, if y'all haven't seen, y'all need to go watch our Eli Apple interview we did. Probably it's been about a month now, right, Ryan?
Yeah, at least. So Cheeto makes it that we've interviewed every starter in the starting 3 corners. We've got Hilton, Apple, and now Awuzie.
Ain't that crazy? Like, what's so weird about like what we're doing now? I feel like we're doing really, really good, Ryan. I feel like the fans, we're all really doing good. We need all your help. We need everybody to champion this message that we're, this is Wincinnati and we're here to stay. And
yes,
the powers of the internet, if you all just retweet this, message people, tell people about it, I promise you, I could give you any interview that you guys want. It's just, I don't want to sell our guys short too. Like, I don't want to be in a position, I'm just saying that I don't want to be in a position where I'm not showcasing Joe Burrow at the level that he needs to be. Like, if that's the guy to, for an interview, or, your NFL Network background, I want to make sure everything is presented right so that it could be right. And we need to make sure that we're on all cylinders. And so we're just building up. I'm so gracious for Cheeto, Mike Hilton, Eli Apple. All these guys have been gracious enough with their time and believed in what we're doing. So I just think it's going to be really, really dope when we get some of these other ones that we got coming up. Before we talk about that this next one coming up on Thursday, I do want to say this. I want to give a shout out to fans of Cincy. We have been working with them too to try to get people to the games. And if you haven't seen it, Fans of Cincy is a site that is really, really good. That'll get you 2 games for a package deal. I looked at it. They had a Dallas one that was cheaper than what I saw for the actual plane ticket. It had the ticket and the plane together. And Dallas is a game that I think a lot of people are probably sleeping on. If you haven't been to Jerry World, it's something I think you should see. Go to fansofcincy.com, check that out, and make sure that you get with the game. Because a part of that, too, I just feel like you'll be doing that, and then you'll be pretty much linked up with a lot of you. Might be a hotel, might be somebody that, there's a Bengals fan that too, and you could all kind of like link up, and it's a different way to kind of stick with the game when you're on the road.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to watch Jamar Chase break the single game receiving record, go to the game in Dallas when he hangs it on Draymond Diggs, because it is going to be a bloodbath.
My Cowboy fan saw that. I think he saw the tweet where I said that, and he was like, At first, he was like, "Man, we gonna be straight," and then after like a couple sentences, he was like, "Man, I'm lying, bro. Like he's done." Like
after he saw the 5th string, 6th string, 7th string, the special teams gunner run deep for touchdowns in training camp,
bro. I like people, like me. I'm just confident. I don't really say, "Hey, dog, we're gonna beat the crap out of you. We're gonna do." Like I'm not that guy. Like I'm confident what I say. And
I mean, a little bit, right?
Sometimes if I feel like there's a matchup I can, kind of exploit, sure. Mm-hmm. But like definitively, like we're going to win this game. Like I take my bets to Vegas. I don't really make like emotional bets like with people and whatever. Like, but when I say that that's a matchup that I don't have a problem saying that I think Jamar Chase or T. Higgins or one of them is going to have 200 yards. And I don't understand like why the Cowboys have like, I get they were a playoff team, but looking at the losses, and we went over this before, I just don't see what everybody else is saying. Like all I got to do is really like cover CeeDee Lamb and then like an unproven Tolbert and then like Dalton Schultz, like that's all I got to do. And then, stop the run. I mean, maybe I'm selling them short, bro. I get it. But I just think the offensive firepower that we have, just like I talked about the matchup with the Purple Perk people, is that, yeah, I put the perk in the middle because I feel like they're on something like when we talk to them about their team. It's just not a good matchup for a lot of teams. Like you have to have 3 really, really good, strong corners, and that's not one of them. Like the Colts have 3 really good, like 3 corners I really, really like. That's a better matchup. Or like you'll start to look at stuff. Right. Anyway, fans of Cincy, go check out that. It's a really good site. I think that you guys will like it. Please make sure you check that out. What you got for us, Ryan? What do we got coming up Thursday?
So what we got coming up Thursday is a really good friend of mine, special guest, former Jaguar, former Raider, running back Maurice Jones-Drew joins the show. He is currently at NFL Network, and that's where he and I spent a lot of time together. He also is the radio analyst for the champion Los Angeles Rams. So be prepared for lots of shade thrown this way because that's just the way he is.
Woo! That's a good get right there, Ryan. I feel like we're on fire this week.
But he was really vocal. He was one of the guys that when the playoffs started, he picked the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl. So he definitely is a guy that supports the team and has confidence and faith in the team. He just happens to work for the team that if we only had a half a second more, the outcome would have been different.
Right. Yeah, we'll get. I think because he watches a lot more of the Rams, I have really good conversations, contrary to people's belief, I guess. My best conversations on Twitter are the Rams because, like I have a huge amount of respect for their team. I know that we've had some things that didn't happen in our way, in our favor. You talk about the third down call and stuff, but I'm not that type of guy to like really harp on that. I'm really more harping on the 5 possessions prior to the big play. Like that. That's kind of like how I'm kind of made up a little bit. But I've been having really good conversations with the with Rams fans. So I'm very interested to see what Maurice Jones-Drew, former running back that was no slouch, really severely underrated running back in the NFL, feels about Mixon, and maybe we get his inside opinion on what it was like, Bengals and Rams week, and get some good info off of that.
Yeah. So Ace will be back in the mix for Thursday for that interview. So we look forward to seeing all you. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, anything that makes the show better. Anything you can do to help make the show better will only make it better in the long run, help us get bigger and better. Appreciate you guys. And we will see you on Thursday.
Comment for a chance to win a free Wincinnati shirt.
Yes, sir. Hello, world. We got a special show as always. TJ Wincinnati, Jimmy Chase, Coach Jimmy Burrow.
Time to be a Bengals
How do you balance being a professional athlete and family obligation? These are top 5 Bengals of all time.
All time? Yeah. Shock the world.